Jonathan administration has also declared amnesty for members of the Boko Haram sect. Series of integration programs have been lined up for the members of this sect who will surrender their arms and embrace peace. Let me take this opportunity on behalf of the federal government to call on the members of the Boko Haram sect to embrace the government's gesture and key into the amnesty program.
Bonnie Haruna, Minister of Youth there, talking about the intention of federal government to grant amnesty to members of the deadly terrorist sect Boko Haram. Thank you for staying the course on Core Digest Monday edition as we talk about the dramatic federal government turn on amnesty. Who is fooling who? Now, don't forget that you can be a part of the show. All you need to do is get across to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CORETV News. And you can put all your comments there, as well as on our Twitter handle as well. It's at CORETV News. And we can wait to hear from you. You get to watch previous and current edition of Core Digest on YouTube. It's right there on your screen. It's youtube.com/CORETV. Leave a space and news. We have still yet with us in the studio, we have Otumba Olabode Osenie, a UK-based media consultant and public affairs analyst. Thank you, Otumba, for staying the course on the show today. As well as Bosun oshifowora, a lawyer and a public affairs analyst. Thank you so very much, Bosun.
Thank you.
It's good to have you join us. On the front page of the papers today, Boko Haram bomb kills 60 in Adamawa brothel and bar. That's on the Nigerian Punch. It looks as if the tide just keep going from Abuja to Plateau to Kano, and then this is Adamawa. And every new day, the numbers and the digits change. On the papers as well today, we saw that a new video has been released showing that these girls are sick and they are asking for immediate release. What do you think all of this, let me start with you, Bosun, is the impact on value for human life, the right to human dignity in Nigeria?
Well, like I said, I've gotten to a point where I almost don't want to talk about this country again, because it's like you see the same thing every day. The premium the government places on the human life is non-existent, is not even low, and it's sad. Nothing has been done to curb these insurgents, and nothing is being seen on the part of the government to take care of those people. And in fact, it is going to a level where these guys are having a field day. In fact, before we finished, I was on a program like last week Sunday at one of the stations, and you know, when we started, I said that before we finish this program, we might just before we finish this program, for all you care, we might just be there. We might just hear another case of bombing and all that. And by the time we were done, it was like we just heard that 30 people had been blown away somewhere in Borno and all that. So we don't know what's going to happen too before we finish. But the government has left its duty. The government has left its duty of protecting the citizenry. And right now, we don't even know what the government is going about. And it's very sad. Nothing has been done. I mean, Otumba talked about a flyover that's supposed to be at a place. There's been complaint and complaint over the years. Practically every other day, somebody gets knocked down. And nobody's looking in that direction. Is that a government? Just flyover. So the government who could not put in a flyover, is it the one who will come and protect you against the insurgents that they don't know or they claim they can't see and they've been negotiating behind? So it's a total failure of government. And there's nothing we can say, there's nothing we can do. We can only wish for a better Nigeria.
What's the impact of all of this on the value on human lives in Nigeria?
It just degenerates further. And the average Nigerian loses hope by the day because you don't know what's going to happen to you. I mean, look at your analysis. Before it was northeast. Now it's spreading beyond the northeast. Now, are we going to wait until it gets to Lagos? before we know what to do. It's spreading and the government cannot do anything. Because right now it's obvious the government doesn't know what to do, or the government doesn't know how to go about it. That is what we have seen.
Now, the issue of amnesty that we're talking about, federal government's amnesty U-turn for Boko Haram. Recently, we saw the American government exchange one soldier in Afghanistan for 6. And you may remember the case of Private 8200 to the Israeli, released for what number? 1,200
Palestinians.
1,200 Palestinians.
Yes.
Couldn't we consider that? Because it was part of the negotiating balance.
Let us do much. I'll add another example.
That's exactly what we are talking about. And until when we get it right, to know that when we say government democracy is supposed to be government of the people, by the people, for the people, we are the people. Because this power we are talking about is derived from us. It's derived from these downfall, all these kind of people who are suffering here. And you just said it. American will do anything to claim a confiscated dog. They will put everything. If an American dog is unlawfully captured, or taken away. No, this is the truth.
Or abducted.
Or abducted. This is the truth. How on earth do we explain to other civilized countries that we still have for now almost 300 of our girls, children? We don't even know what their medical conditions are. We don't. There's so many things we are taking just for granted. And I'm sorry if I keep going back to examples that you have also mentioned. You look at how the life of an average Nigerian is so messed up. How can you explain that people have no light for 29 days in a time for 3 years? These are the things. Let's talk about it. And now also this area we're talking about in the north, the level of the neglect. What we are seeing now is the outcome of what we have not been doing to sustain, to manage the life of ordinary people in this part of the world. We know exactly, and I also said this, Bosun, there's no way you find a just graduated physics or chemistry or law, whatever student following Boko Haram. You won't. Even if the boss is claiming that he's a graduate or whatever somewhere, but he will not, people that be following him will not be somebody who has just graduated at university or whatever following Boko Haram. But now are
we not being presumptuous here?
No, of course not. We can see that. You and I can see that. You and I can see that. And how do we see that? We can see how other countries look at us. We have a situation also in our hand, and I'm sorry, this might be a little bit digression, where we have all over Nigerian embassies all over the world. We have a case of 12 people still languishing in Saudi Arabia jail. They are there. And what do they need? Ordinary for the Attorney General, you bear that with me, just to take action. They did not do anything. So when you are talking about human life here worth nothing, absolutely nothing, because if it does, and I also want to make another example. I lost my bosom friend last year, late Olabode Osenie. And also at the same time, my senior sister died last year. And one after that, I went to Ota for the final burial of my senior sister. On our way back, I saw a military vehicle driving wrong way opposite us. And what happened? Crushed 2 women right in front of Gateway Hotel at Ota. Again, but I can say today, I made so much noise. Today they start putting overhead bridges there. I'm going to make the same noise so they can start putting bridges here. These are little things we need to do. Human life means nothing to anybody. And now the dead body is there. It might be there till tomorrow.
I hope not. It wouldn't.
But
on Lagos about the expressway.
It's taken in a civilized situation. There should have been ambulance there. Do we have all these things? And these are these that now accumulate to where we are with Boko Haram problem. And we're not talking of one person is talking of amnesty, the other one is talking whatever. because the whole business of governance in this country is like a kindergarten. Even kindergarten, they are well coordinated.
Bosun, 1 for 6 and 1 for 1,200.
You know what? Even apart from that, you forgot the case of Al Megari. The Libyan guy,
Okay.
for economic gains. UK gave them back for getting the
the Panama disaster.
Now, you see, I have reached a level just to believe that the government doesn't care about the average citizen. Now, don't just look at these girls. Don't look at the number. Look at them as individuals. We all have kids. We all have children. Now, my D2 daughter, I just go to the school and just find out how she's doing. I mean, she's just less than 2, but I just want to see her. Now, imagine somebody, now their parents are dying. Now, forget about that. What I want to bring in is the psychology of the girls is being damaged. Because they do government, they do all the social studies, they know the function of the government, they know that the government is there to protect. And they've been in custody of somebody for over 50 days now, and nothing has been done. But even when they come out, what do you think? And they know, and you know all these terrorists and how they do. They'll try to indoctrinate the girls. They will lie to them, and they will tell them that, look at your government, they can't come and save you, and we're here for you. Now, you think by the time they come out, what do you think will be their outlook to life, their outlook to government? Now, it's sad. And this is unheard of. American government. I was on a TV show, like I said, just a few days ago, and it was a discourse. There was somebody on the other side. He was a doctor from Lagos State University, and he said the government should go there. And he was talking as if, you know, when they brought the offer of negotiation, he said, well, that negotiation is a sign of weakness. And I was like, see, this is a definite proposal. The guy said, give us our own people. We will give you the girls. Government hasn't been able to. That proposal came on the table about 20, 25 days ago. Nothing has been done. The chief of army staff came on and said they know where the girls are, and they don't want to use force, or they cannot use force. We haven't seen what they've done. You don't want to use force, what do you want to use? Negotiation, what have you done?
I also want to come in here. It gets to a point where the civilized world came to say, okay, can we help you? What did we get? They've turned the whole thing around. How long ago is that thing? Because until when we do what we have to do. Because I always give this example. I'm known now as the 10 apple. You cannot have a basket A containing 10 apples, and 9 out of these 10 apples are rotting. And you now get legislators from that 10 apples. The basket is the country. The apples are the people that are now governors. And then, of course, on the other basket B, you now have 10 apples. 9 of these apples are good ones. It's only one rotten one. Okay. What do you get? Of course, you get people that are spiritually developed. They know exactly what governance is all about. Here, people like you said many times here, they don't really care. You're talking about exchanging prisoners. That is not only in Israel. Israel will do anything. You remember that sergeant that was captured for many years? Yes. No country in the whole world could have done anything because they're doing everything possible to make sure they get him back. You understand me? So it depends on how much premium we put on human life here. And that is also, that reflection is what we get by denying ordinary people virtually everything.
It's all right.
I will say, let me quickly complete. I was also privy to watch the Ogun State Investment Forum. And the former president of Mexico and the vice president of World Bank was saying to us, wonderful area, the location, the settings, everything is fantastic, super. But you're not going to achieve anything until when you put in place all this basic social infrastructure.
Well, let's try to x-ray the content of this negotiation issue. Initially, Boko Haram was asking for prisoners, members of the sect who have been convicted and who are in prison. But after a while, they shifted the ground and said, give us our family, give us our wives and our children who are in your custody in exchange for the girls. One would wonder that why is that an impossible thing for the federal government?
In any negotiation, time factor counts.
Important.
If I tell you to give me this in exchange for this, and I know that you cannot do without this, and you know I can't do without this, then I shouldn't waste time in giving you that thing. The more I linger and waste time, and you could see from your own point that this guy is a bit confused, he's still consulting, he doesn't know what he's doing, you would change the goalpost, particularly where you have the ace. That is what is happening.
Does it not look so much like a sign of weakness on the part of the government to engage in negotiations?
The government has not just shown weakness, they've shown vulnerability, they've shown what Nigeria, I had an understanding that we were giant of Africa, fine, we felt we were losing the economy, the giant in the economy to South Africa. But now we have seen that just remove the GI and leave the ANT. That is what we are. Right now, everything is just...
Don't forget that we are the largest economy in Africa.
Forget rebasing. All those ones are paper theory. Okonjo Iweala came out a few weeks ago. They were talking rebasing. Even the president said that if this rebasing does not translate to food on the average man's table, then it's just textbook economy.
Oftentimes we seem to point accusing fingers to leadership when we discuss issues like this, Otumba. But many also are of the opinion that every nation has the kind of leadership it deserves. Initially we have the hashtag bring back our girls. What do you think followership? Are you saying we are living in a hopeless situation? What do you think we can do as a people to take our destinies in our hands?
Femi, you want me to go back to the analogy of two baskets I told you about? I can go back to it. I can go back to it. Because you know what?
One bad apple doesn't spoil the broth.
Yeah, but if you want to have participation of the people, you cannot deny them everything. Ordinary people are denied virtually everything here.
Are the people supposed to now fold back their hands and watch things happen?
The thing is, as it is, that is the thing.
They've been incapacitated.
You deny an average Nigerian basic things that he needs tools that he needs to be a part of governance. Governance cannot be in isolation. You cannot run governance in isolation. We need everybody. We're talking of terrorism. We're talking of different. The MI5, MI16, or MI whatever they call in the UK, they are successful because of the cooperation, because of the support of the ordinary citizen. You understand me? The support of the ordinary citizen in Europe or in America, they are so supportive of their government. You understand, Sheyi? Because they are made to be patriotic because of what the basic things they're entitled to, and they get it. You cannot tell anybody here who has not eaten for the last 2 or 3 days, who is struggling to pay his school fees, who is doing a lot of things, and you understand me, to tell you when the Boko Haram is coming.
But let's look at it, because from what my colleague, let's take it along those lines. We the people, we're looking for a solution. Everybody seems to know the problem is. Even if you ask your 3-year-old, what's Boko Haram about? They'll probably give you an analogy that tallies. But the situation is we, the people, are saying we're helpless. In conformity with just what the body language of the government is it not?
Because they reflect, they represent us.
So we, the people, other than going out to say, bring back our girls, what else should we be doing? What else should we be asking for? Should we be threatening, or should we be stonebounding?
What can we do? You see, this bring back our girls has only brought everything into focus. In fact, there should be hashtag bring back our lives. This is not the Nigeria we grew up to know.
Indeed not. Indeed not.
Generator was not a part of my own growing up. These are things we came to know. Now, people generate their light, people generate water, you get your own security. Just a few days ago on my street, we had to go and buy rubble to fill the potholes on the street. So I'm a government to myself. All the things that government is supposed to do, I'm doing it. And the government is not paying me back in any form. I use my own personal funds to do practically what government should do. I've been incapacitated. So there's nothing you can do. You threaten this government.
That's what I'm saying, because
cannot.
there is 2015 on the board. Every one of us know that they're going to ask our vote in 2015. Could we not be threatening,
My
for
brother,
instance?
you know the case of, let's not state the obvious.
It's
In
no
the
longer
US
obvious. If we can be coming out to say, bring back our girls, and it's making a move, it's making an inroad into what the government is thinking, should we not, as a people, we the people, say 2015, you go see? Wouldn't that make something? Because somebody hasn't done my road, my street lights, I still pay for my water, I use my generator to pump water and get water that was not provided for me by no one else.
This
is not suggested.
Let me quickly take you on that. I've been living in Europe now for quite a considerable period of time. And the area where I live in London, there are now four political parties that are very relevant. And I want to tell you this, and you know that. None of them will go to election without visiting me. They will come and knock at my door. You know why? Because of that, my one vote counts. Not only counts, it's very effective, it's very powerful. You understand me? And they appreciate it. So, like he said, do not let us go to certain obvious. We cannot afford to.
You know the problem we even have
So,
here?
if our vote really do count, if our votes do really count, we will not be here today.
I'm afraid that both of you are painting a hopeless situation. Are you saying there is no way out of this? Initially, it was leadership. Now we're talking about the role that followership must play, or that can play, to change the tide. Can't we change the system here in Nigeria?
In this country, when the Court of Appeal practically upturned almost all elections in the entire Southwest and even beyond. Now, then you saw what happened to the people at the Court of Appeal. So, what are we? Let's just stay. Let's stay where we are.
No,
and move on.
No, but that is not the solution.
You know what? You see, ideally,
gentlemen, we are looking for a situation. We're looking for a way out. The whole nation is watching us. We're supposed to be, I mean, the fourth red, the opinion suggestors, so to speak. Now we are supposed to be looking for a solution as to, should government take a U-turn and stick to it? Let's negotiate with these people, release their family. But the time has elapsed, or should we say
it's going?
It's going.
Time is going.
So what do we do?
Okay,
we need
ideally, let's come back to reality. Ideally, you're supposed to, any government you don't like, you should change them by the polls. The polls are around the corner. But I mean, you and I know that it's not been very smooth. If you look at Nigerian election, from voters' awareness to then, I think Otuba made a very veritable point earlier on. The poverty in this country, the country is divided into two: the very rich and the very poor. The very rich will always dictate to the very poor. Then also, most times we have political parties who just present candidates you don't even know. So you have a case of, I think, like the late Chief Gani Fawemi said, you just have where two devils are presented to you. You just pick the better devil. And that's what we have. People don't have direct participation in the candidates. I mean, I don't know about your area, but I grew up in Surulere. And in my area, Ward E2, that's the ward.
Yeah.
We have not been able to get a councillor, which is the closest to you, from that same ward. Every time there's an election, I mean, from as far back as 80s, there's always been some form of imposition of candidates, and that's what we don't have a choice. We just go. Sometimes they try to vote, and we've had issues.
Don't you think it's been like that because you took it?
You accepted.
You accepted the system.
I told
and
you
you didn't
that
do
we have
anything about
tried
it.
to change it. We've had ballot boxes hijacked. We've had people beaten to a pulp in getting a councillor. So how do I get a governor of my choice?
Well, I think if you insist, this might not be very palatable to some of our listeners or viewers. We will need to start from you, looking at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I wake up this morning, I want to be good. And me also looking at myself in the mirror, and everybody here looking at themselves in the mirror and say, I'm appointed as minister of this, commissioner for this, and so on and so forth. I want to be good.
Morality, right?
Yeah. And that is where the issue, I also see, when it's the point of spiritual development. Spiritual development is nothing to do with the church or mosque. That I look and say, my dear, so am I going to be good today? I'm going to be a downfall driver. Am I going to comply? Am I going to drive according to rules and regulations? Am I ready to be arrested if I break the law? These are things. So solution, that is the solution. But how many of us were so much in a hurry because you deny so many people? You now have a situation where I can't even see post office anymore here. Yeah? But you're looking at a situation where you know, he's just giving us an example of his constituency, where you know that it's about 150-something thousand people in your constituency, and they need maybe a form or something, and you deliberately put only 32,000 there. What's going to happen? All these are the problems. So all of us need to look at it in the mirror and say, am I a good citizen?
Maybe a moral code.
It falls back to the people after all.
A moral code.
Falls back to us.
It falls back to us.
Yeah. But it's going to take such a long time.
Are we being pessimistic
No,
here?
of course
Is
not.
this a situation where we don't see a light in the tunnel? Is this what we suggest?
Because we don't want to see it.
There's no light in the tunnel.
We don't want to see it.
We don't want to see the light in the tunnel.
Let me take it on this, Bosun. There is a vision called the Vision 2025. A man by the name Fela Durotoye says he believes, prophetically now, in quote, that Nigeria will become the most desirable nation to live in come 2025. Now, and some are of the opinion that everything that is happening now are just pangs of birth that will give birth to something new in this nation. How do you react to that?
I know Fela Durotoye. He's a great guy, very eloquent, very good guy. But I heard when he said that thing, he runs this gemstone thing, but he's a good guy. He's a consultant par excellence. But I have not seen the blueprint. I don't wish things. This country can be great. We have both the human and natural resources to be great. We don't need 2025. Though I don't believe in all those nomenclature from IBB days. Vision 1993 to 2000, 2000 became 2005, 2010, 2020.
Now we have Vision 2020.
Now, I don't believe in all those nomenclatures. If we're serious as a people, we can, if we sit down together. Now, we missed the golden opportunity, which is in the conference, the national conference.
Yes.
I thought people were going to come together and sit down and discuss this nation.
Yes.
But you have a national conference where the youngest person is 50-something. And you want to discuss the future for 19-year-old, 25-year-old. You don't know what they do. The UK Prime Minister, all the people ruling the entire world, they are in their 40s. Now you put people 80, they've been dying.
You can't discountenance their experience and knowledge. Should we not reconsider that side, that aspect of it? But having said
that's why they've been dying one by one.
Having said that,
Ultimately, they say we don't need people like you on the table.
I have never said so.
we need to move on.
Honestly speaking, and this is the whole, in front of the whole world, if I'm asked to step back, not to participate in any, but to tap into what I can offer the state, I will do that. I'm really and honestly, I will let people like you go forward and do things that is good for the nation. But the chances, the opportunities have been squeezed away in front of you you have no chance in such a manner. And now, quickly, as a lawyer, the section 14 of the Nigerian Constitution makes it clear that the government, any government, must protect human lives, properties, and so on and so forth. But we didn't get that. This is a blatant, a flagrant breach of that constitution. These are the thing, and that is exactly, like I said again and again, that is the level, this where we find ourselves now is what we are putting into governance in a mockery way, in such a childish, in a child play manner. We are not serious. This is not a serious way to run governance.
Sorry.
It is not this way to run government, and that's exactly what the problem is.
Shayi, recently, Mr. President was reacting to comments that the Minister of Youth Development in Nigeria is an ex-governor,
yes,
and many were of the opinion that why not put youthful people, for crying out loud, in a youth ministry. And Mr. President said that you necessarily do not need children to lead children at times.
Well, it is important to know that the nation is not just full of children. 70% of the voting populace in the nation today are still between the ages of 18 and 35. And would any party, any government discountenance that age brackets, particularly towards an election year? We know that Boko Haram, a U-turn by the government to grant some form of amnesty to Boko Haram, could lead to the release of these girls. What is important to you and I is that 50 days gone, have we brought back the girls? Or can these girls still be saved? Some form of negotiation. Release our family, they said, some 20 days or so ago, and time is still of the essence. Who is fooling who? Is it Boko that is fooling us, or we the people are the ones who are the fools? I'm not saying anything about government. We'll see you in the morning. Want to say a big thank you to our guests this morning.
Bosun Oshifowora, a lawyer and a public affairs analyst. And it looks like we're the only one who have black hair. Two gentlemen with grey hair. We're going to chase them away. And as well, Olabode Osenie, a UK-based media consultant and public affairs analyst. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you very much.
All you need to do is like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CORETV News, and as well as check us out on the Twitter handle at CORETV News NG, and you get to watch previous edition and of course this edition on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CORETV. Leave a space and news. I will be back again tomorrow for another exciting, educational, and of course inspiring edition of your ultimate news and current affairs program, Core Digest. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.
Nigerians continue to
tonight, the city of Lagos went and dog
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
one Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CORETV News.
Welcome to CORETV,
a 24-hour news station.